Welcome to Flawless Conversations, where we create safe, powerful space for women and men to heal, rise, and reconnect with who they truly are. I'm your host, Tomeka Jones, and today's conversation is all about reclaiming your confidence, your voice, and your worth. Joining me is Nina Mora. She's a globally recognized speaker, an author, a strategist, and a transformational leader known as the Wellness Queen. Nina is the visionary behind the Get Well and Get Healthy movement, helping women heal physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Her story from warfare to walking fully in purpose is a living testament to her resilience, faith, and self worth. Today, we're beginning with the topic so many women quietly carry. What happens when you feel overlooked, unseen, or invisible, even when your heart is full and your intentions are so pure? Nina, it's such an honor to have you here today.
It's an honor to be here today. Tamika, thank you for the invite.
Yes, thank you for bringing your wisdom and your heart to flawless conversations.
Let's talk.
Yes. Nina, many women experience seasons where they feel unseen at work and relationships and even within their own families. Over time, this invisibility can erode confidence. It also can silence voices and create self doubt, which I know so well.
Mm,
This conversation focuses on healing that wound and helping women reconnect with their worth, which is their birthright.
mm.
Is our birthright, regardless of who notices or who applauds them, right? So, Nina, can you share a time when you felt unseen and what that moment taught you about your own worth?
Thank you so much, Tamika. When I read that question, I thought of many times when I felt unseen. It was kind of difficult to choose just one. I know a lot of my trauma began when I became a teen mom at the age of 15. And as a bishop's daughter, you feel so shameful and so guilty about like bringing your family name, this shame. I went to the Philadelphia High School for Girls, which is one of the most prestigious high schools in Philadelphia. And it wasn't normal to see girls in that school walking around pregnant. There were three of us, three, and one of the three of us did not keep her baby. She didn't find out she was pregnant until she was like 6 months, and she ended up putting her baby up for adoption. So there's two of us that actually kept our children, and that wasn't a norm. So I remember feeling very shameful, not really about the child I was carrying because I knew that that was a gift from God,
Mhm.
but about the fact that I brought shame to my family. And then there was a moment that taught me because I had to realize my worth, and through the word of God, as I began to realize my worth becoming tied to, it was tied to validation,
Mhm.
not real identity. And that moment taught me this thing, that being unseen by people does not mean you're unseen by God. And when you understand, you might feel unseen by people, but not unseen by God. My worth didn't increase when I was noticed, and it didn't decrease when I wasn't. I want to
Mhm.
say that again. My worth didn't increase when I was noticed, but it also doesn't decrease when you're not. That truth changes everything. When you realize who you are in Christ, and that took many years, but I think about even in my marriage, oftentimes in my marriage, I felt married but alone. So I understand what it is to be married and feel alone and feel unseen, unheard. Most arguments start, and this is what people really got to understand. When you're in relationship and covenant with people, most arguments start because a person doesn't feel like they're being heard. That's why arguments start. It's not even about the fact that, oh, you left the toothpaste open, or, you didn't clean up the dishes, or a lot of arguments really start because people feel unheard and unseen. But we're going to help the women with that today.
Yes, I so love it. Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of times, like you said, our worth is tied to validation or labels or titles, just like you just
Yeah.
said. was at the school, right? It wasn't about the baby. It was more so about your family name, right? That
Yep.
title, label. But once you broke that and said, no, no more. This is who I am. This is who God created me, and I'm bringing forth a powerful seed, right? A child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's when you were able to tap into who you are and walk in your purpose. That's good, Nina. I love it. I love it. How does being overlooked slowly affect a woman's confidence? And how she shows up in life, right?
So when a woman is overlooked long enough, she starts shrinking, but it's not physical. It's not physical shrinking. It's spiritual. It's emotionally like shrinking, making yourself so. So oftentimes women try to make dumb themselves down to make sure that everybody else around them feels safe, like their gift is not supposed to be big. A woman edits herself. She quiets her voice. She lowers her own expectations. And over time, she forgets she was ever meant to take up space. What happens when we do that is confidence erodes slowly and silently. And then you find women will say things like, well, I'm just quiet. I'm
I'm just
just
an
shy.
introvert.
I'm just shy. What's crazy is I really am an introvert, but we say those things to give us permission to dumb ourselves down when really our emotions and our spiritually and emotionally we're distraught because we believe that we had to shrink to make everybody else feel safe or comfortable around us.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
I so know about that. I've served 23 years in the military and I felt just that, right? I had to shrink or silence my voice
Yeah.
because of, who I was at a table full of men or whoever, right? So I felt
Yeah.
the need to shrink, or your voice isn't valid at this time. Sit back
Yeah.
and listen to. So yeah, I know so well
Be
about that.
see be what is it? Be seen, not heard. But
Yes.
we were taught. So think about all of the damaging things, Tamika, we've been taught as a kid. We were taught be seen, not heard. Your
Do
feelings
as I
don't matter. Get your hands off your imagination. And we
do
were
as I
taught,
say, not as
yeah,
I
do
do.
us right.
Yeah.
We were taught that we really couldn't vocalize how we felt because that was a sign of disrespect. When now our young people are learning, hey, I should be able to talk, I should be able to speak and share with you how I feel. It's not disrespect, but I'm a human being. Like I should be seen and heard too. So I believe when we think about a lot of how we feel now is really stems from how we were raised, but our parents, they didn't know any better. They were doing what their parents did. And think about it, all of our traumas go back to slavery when our people were beat into submission. And so that is a learned behavior. Spanking kids is a learned behavior. Kids do need discipline. That is why a lot of them are off the chains because they need discipline. But there is a way to do it. And we just repeated cycles based on what we learned as learned behavior. Oh, they're not listening, just beat them. Beat them, and that is a slavery mentality. So all of that trauma goes back to that, like not being heard. They were told to come into the house, work in the house, but don't you open your mouth. Don't you say a thing. It's a generational cycle that goes all the way back in our ancestry trees, and we have to be the voice to break the cycles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I so agree with that. And I remember stepping into my purpose and stepping into Tamika. I had to go back and peel back layers of trauma from
Yeah.
childhood where I would go to school every day. And before I go to school, my mom would say, don't cause no smoke, sit in the back of the classroom, don't raise your hand, be quiet, shut up, do your work and come home, right? So I lived my life as such, right? In the South, right? So, and it was what she knew and what she went through, right?
Hmm.
During her years and what her mom went through. So I had to break that, right? Until we don't know what we don't know. But when you do know and start doing the work and the healing, guess what?
Yeah, the inner here. Another thing, Tamika, as you were talking, what about when we were told, "Oh, you're just loud," or "You're bossy, you're
Too
you're
much.
bossy," and here's the thing. Yeah, when we identify especially a young lady, as being bossy, we didn't teach her. We weren't taught, oh, you have leadership capability,
Yes.
but it was you're bossy. And so you shrink again because now I'm being told I'm bossy. Let me dumb this down. Let me tame this because I don't want to appear bossy. When it's funny, our 11-year-old is what the world might call bossy, right? But I've seen leadership capability in her since she was 1 years old, 2 years old. She was able to captivate rooms at a very young age. And so the moment that we really undo, it's really unlearning. It's not what we got to learn, it's what we've got to unlearn so that we can stop passing on that kind of drama and chaos and trauma to all the generations,
Yes.
and recognize it for what it is, that you've got some leadership capabilities. Let me mold and shape that so that you can become the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, those paradigms and self-limiting beliefs and yeah, all the things. Yes, 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 yes. I agree.
Learn behaviors.
Learn
Learn
behaviors. Yeah,
behaviors.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Nina, what affirmation would you offer to a woman or man who is ready to be seen again?
I move forward with grace, not permission. I move forward with grace, not permission.
One
And
more time.
I move forward with grace, not permission. And I trust who I am as I unfold.
That's powerful. That is powerful. Can you say that one more time so the
I
audience can
can.
write that down? So
Let's
be
say it
listening,
again. Let's
please.
say it again. I move forward with grace, not permission. And I trust who I am as I unfold. We don't need permission. We just need God's grace.
God's grace, right? Who lives inside of us.
Hmm.
Already here. Yes. So, coming up, we'll talk about the fear many women feel around being fully seen and how to feel safe showing up as your true, authentic self. We'll be
Awesome.
right back.